This is the NFL Week 5 recap. Big week featuring heavy impacted injuries along with Super Bowl rematches. So let's dive in. Thursday Night Football, Jets and Vikings, 35-7. Minnesota blew out New York in front of a sold-out crowd in Minnesota. Key injury number 1, Zach Wilson with a right torn elbow tendon who will miss 6 weeks. That's a big headline. Mike White will start next week against the Bills. He came in for a little bit. Kirk Cousins, 301, 4 TDs. Justin Jefferson with another big night, and the Vikings are rolling at 5-0. Game 2 of the London series, Atlanta wins at 13-12. A wide right Will Lutz field goal cost New Orleans a chance at the win. Jameis Winston didn't look really good. Michael Thomas, leading receiver for the Saints. Marcus Mariota leading the Falcons on a late comeback to take the lead. Drake London with a touchdown in London. Pretty interesting stat line as the Falcons move to 4-1. Philadelphia, they beat the Commanders pretty badly, 30-8 in FedEx Field, as the Commanders never really stood a chance. Philadelphia moves to 5-0. Jalen Hurts, 249, 3 TDs, 2 of those to A.J. Brown. Carson Wentz with an shoulder injury, questionable for week number 6 as they can't really diagnose it just yet. Taylor Heineke threw for 57 yards and a TD. Terry McLaurin with a nice day. The Ravens, they beat Carolina 27-7 as they improve to 5-0 and leading the AFC North. Baker Mayfield, an okay day, nothing too mind-boggling. Lamar Jackson, 224, 2 TDs. Key injury number 3, J.K. Dobbins, as that's a typo, with a upper leg muscle strain, out for the season. Again, second year in a row for the third-year man of Ohio State. So that's unfortunate for the Ravens. The Titans, they beat the Dolphins 27-23 on the road, thanks to a late game touchdown from Tannehill to Anthony Firkser with a touchdown. Good day for Tannehill, 2 TDs and a pick. Teddy Bridgewater threw 47 times, nearly 400 yards and 2 interceptions. Tyreek Hill had the only touchdown catch, and it was on 4th and 1. D. Henry with nearly 160 rushing yards in this game, the most since 2019. The Buffalo Bills, they hit a late game field goal to win it against Cincinnati. So New Orleans is wide right. You would think the Bills would have a moment like that, but they don't. Cincinnati's no longer undefeated. Burrow, 238, 2 TDs. Joe Mixon with a touchdown run. Josh Allen, 257. He had 3 TDs. Stephon Diggs and Dawson Knox with big days for the Bills, as Zach Moss did not have a rushing touchdown for Buffalo. The Bears in their first game without Justin Fields, and the Jaguars go to Soldier Field and stomp on Chicago in their second all-time meeting. As Lawrence, 258, 2 TDs. Etienne had 2 TDs, and Christian Kirk had a receiving touchdown. Trevor Siemian looked okay at first in the second half, fell apart, had 2 turnovers in this game. Montgomery had a rushing touchdown. Cole Kmet, for the second game in a row, was Simeon's favorite target. How about this? The 3-1 Chargers fall 20-3 to the New England Patriots out of all teams in Foxborough. Chargers, Herbert had more completions than completions, as 184 and 1 interception. As Eckler, 9 rushed, 21 yards, didn't do much. Keenan Allen had a decent day. But Mac Jones, 236, a touchdown and a pick. Jonnu Smith had a good game for the Patriots. Another late game field goal that works. The Colts. So the third game that comes down to a last second field goal, and the Colts make theirs. Matt Ryan threw no touchdowns. It was Jonathan Taylor, 2 TDs, and then a touchdown by Nyheim Hines as well. Michael Pittman, 118 yards receiving. Nico Collins with an injury. He's out for next week as Davis Mills threw for 2 TDs. Brandon Cooks, a huge day. This game went down to overtime as the Broncos win 27-24 again. Second straight win on 3 points. They won on a last-second field goal last week against Arizona. They went on a field goal in overtime in MetLife to progress to 2-3. Daniel Jones with 3 TDs in this one. Darius Slayton had a touchdown less than a minute to go to tie the game at 24, which led to overtime. But the Giants fall to 3-2. Rematch of Super Bowl number 2 as the Packers win 16-0. First time the Steelers have been shut out in a game in the sim history. Kenny Pickett looked terrible. 17 for 40, 142, 2 picks. Harris did nothing. The whole offense was just absolutely abysmal for the Steelers. The Packers looked okay. Aaron Rodgers very inconsistent. Allen Lazard still the leading receiver for that team as Watson and Dobbs haven't fit in well with the offense. America's Game of the Week on Fox. Another late game drive by Matthew Stafford gives the Rams a 23-16 win over Seattle as the Rams score with just over a minute left. A ton of games coming right down to the wire in Week 5. Stafford, 243, a touchdown and a pick. Geno Smith had a touchdown. This wasn't very accurate as Kenneth Walker had a decent game. Tyler Lockett, leading receiver for the Seahawks, as the Rams go to 3-2 and now take the lead in the division. How about this game? We saw the Raiders come back and beat Buffalo. The 49ers were down 23-3 at the start of the fourth quarter, and they score 24 fourth quarter points. Trey Lance got benched at halftime as Jimmy Garoppolo came in. Jared Goff was really good, had almost 200 yards at halftime as the Lions had nothing in the second half. Debo went off. Elijah Mitchell had 2 TDs, and the rumor is Garoppolo starting Week 6 against the Raiders. The Cowboys, they win 24-14 against the Cardinals in a narrower game than they would have liked as they take on Seattle next week. Dak, another 3 TD game. Jake Ferguson, the backup tight end, had a good game, and Kyler Murray threw for 2 TDs. Marquise Brown, the leading receiver for the Cardinals, along with A.J. Green, both have been doing pretty well with the offense as a D-Hop comes back Week 9 after his 8-game suspension. Sunday Night Football, another rainy night in Tampa, a rematch of Super Bowl 5. This time the Chiefs win it 26-14. Mahomes had a good day, just a little bit inaccurate. Kelsey, 5 receptions, 106 yards and a TD. He went off. Leonard Fournette, 2 TDs. Brady had a pick as Mike Evans and Chris Godwin were doing most of the work for the Buccaneers. They fall to 2-3 for the first time in Brady's career, but they still lead the NFC South. And then finally, Monday Night Football, 20-16. The Raiders win in Vegas. They beat Cleveland to improve to 3-2, as the Browns fall to 3-2. They have a tough game against Minnesota. Brissett wasn't very accurate. It's been decent on the year. His worst game by far. Hunt had a good game. Kareem Hunt had a touchdown, and then Derek Carr had a late fumble, which gave the Browns a chance to try and come back, but they couldn't as Darren Waller had a TD. AFC standings, Baltimore 5-0, the only team undefeated in the AFC. Kansas City and Buffalo at 4-1. Jacksonville 3-2, your division leaders, with Cincy, the Chargers, and Dolphins rounding out the current playoff standings. Browns, Raiders, Titans all there as well, with a game or a game and a half behind, looking to try and punch their way into the playoffs by week number 6. Then in the NFC, Minnesota and Philadelphia stay undefeated. The Rams lead a 3-way tie for the lead in the NFC West. And then Tampa Bay at 2-3 leads the South. Dallas at 4-1. Giants have dropped another game. They're 3-2. And the 49ers are 3-2, hanging on to that last spot. Seahawks and Packers are right there as well for that 7th and final seat in the AFC currently. This is ASC signing off.